What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Second Street Marvel. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here for this Saturday afternoon, comics show. We're gonna be having a few guests here on today. We've kind of made this a regular thing. It's been this will be our third week doing this. Haven't really come up with a good name for the for the name of this live stream or anything. But hey, if you can think of something better than I have, well, hey, let me know. I'd greatly appreciate hearing any suggestions that you guys might have. That's why this time I figured I'd call it Saturday Comics Mayhem. I don't know. Sounds kind of catchy because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into some comic book talk, and well, who knows? I guess it could be mayhem, and we're gonna have Chris from Chaos and Comics here, as well as Dylan from Dylan's Comic Book Rants. We're gonna get on and talk about some comic books now. I've had a pretty busy week, so I didn't really get a whole lot of books read, but I'm sure they'll get in here and be able to have plenty of things to talk about because it sounds like they've got plenty of their plenty of books read because it was a pretty big week. I know for me personally, I've still got like this stack of comic books right here to read. I've still got all these to read, so quite a bit here, and let's see. Here we go. We got. Man.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. Just got home from a bike ride a little while ago. Had some breakfast. Just made a cup of coffee. Ready to get on here and talk about some comic books.
There we go. Sounds good. No Dylan yet?
Not yet. Probably any minute now.
Any minute.
I want to say what's up to everybody. We got Southern Comic Geek here says what's up. We also got Wookiee Supremacy in the chats. Thank you so much for being here. Looks like we got Social Introvert TV says Trinity, what's up? What's up, my brother? How are you doing? Captain Pennsylvania says what's up? I'm at work. I'll be in and out. Nice. All right. In and out like a duck mating. Discovery Bay. JB, what's up, JB? How you doing today? We got Biden Touch here says hey. JB says well, more like good afternoon. Yeah, I know. I think if I'm not mistaken, JB, aren't you out here on the West Coast like me? And
yeah, he's in the East Bay, or maybe not the East Bay. He's in the Bay Area, maybe not the East Bay. I don't know where Discovery Bay is. Yeah, but
me neither. I thought he was out here on the West Coast like me though. So yeah, I guess it's early afternoon here still. It's only 2:00, so I guess maybe about mid afternoon. Wish upon a vlog, Julie. How are you doing? Yeah. Oh, dang. He says West Coast. Dang. Yeah. Throw it up, JB. Well, we can't see it, but
he's a 49er fan. So it's the one bad thing about him.
Oh yeah, man. You know what though? When I used to watch football, I used to love those 49ers. You know why? Because I used to love
you suck too.
Bears spank them constantly.
Yeah.
I remember. So. Yeah, wasn't it? I think it was Nathan Vasher who first he did that there in San Francisco. I think he set at the time it was like the longest kickoff run back in NFL history. I think it was like 106 yards or something. Maybe it was just I can't remember. Maybe it was a punt return. Nathan Vasher did that. It was probably like 2003. But he ran it from their end zone clear into the end zone, and then a couple years later, Devin Hester came in and broke that record.
And I think it's been tied since because there's a max on that. So
yeah, I think the most it could go is like 109 yards. I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So I couldn't even tell you who's
really get further back in the end zone.
I couldn't even tell you who's done it now because that probably won't happen anymore either. Since most of the time you're just kicking the ball out of the end zone, and it definitely wasn't a punt, right? Because it had been a punt on the 1 yard line, and no one punts 100 yards. So. But yeah, it had to be a kickoff. Well, I guess I don't even know what I'm talking about. It wouldn't have to be a punt on the 1 yard line. So scratch all that stuff I just said the last 15 seconds, guys. Anyway, I had a big ass stack. Too. So, but I read all mine. I think I maybe didn't read like 2 or 3 stragglers, like things like that. I didn't read The Last God #4 because I'm a couple issues behind on that. But I'll sit and read all that. Today, but it was a pretty big week. I came on right as you were showing your stack. What did your stack look like?
Well, I mean, all of them here I've got for this week was right here.
Yeah, that's a big stack. So
Yeah.
I mean, those are all to read because sometimes we buy comics that, we're a
Well,
couple behind on.
well, I was gonna say I got like Fantastic Four. I got that one. I probably won't read that for a while. And
Yeah.
pretty much, I think pretty much everything else here is to read. Yeah, because like I finally got caught up on Captain America. Finally got caught up
Okay.
on the Captain America series. So I think I think I'm all caught up until this book that just came out this week. Kind of I don't know how to feel about this story. Have you been reading Captain America?
I stopped at I was the guy that told the story where I chose Captain America covers over Immortal Hulk covers, and then I regretted it. I stopped probably around issue 8 or 9. But
Okay.
you and Dylan reading it, I don't know anyone else except for you and Dylan that are reading it up to now. I mean, that's not a negative, and I think Ta-Nehisi Coates is a good writer and everything, but what you said about it, what I've heard you say about it, that hey, it's pretty good. Just I understanding, like, sort of trying to like say that it's also nothing special, but you enjoy it. Like what you said about it is the way I felt about it around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where my comic stacks are getting big and things had to get cut. That was one of them. So I felt the same way. Like I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. It's just one that ended up falling off for me.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably going to end up dropping that one off my pull list too. I mean, I like the character, I like what's been going on, but like the story's been decent. It's been a pretty good story, but like overall, there's not like a whole lot of action. It's not one of those ones that like it gets done at the end of the month, and I'm just like, oh dang, I can't wait till next month to read it. But
not on the top of the list. Yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man too.
Yeah, I remember at least the 8 issues in, I was like, man, stop. Like every issue was, I don't know if he's still doing that, but every issue was him like dealing with the fact that he was part of Hydra and that he's, like it was very like, it's fine for it to be internal, but every issue was him like talking about that, or
yeah,
I have to get the trust back of the United States, and you know what I mean. So
totally.
Yeah,
I like and the thing is like I like that struggle. I like that struggle that he's going through, because I mean, the one thing I do like is because I know a lot of people that like some of the people that didn't like Secret Empire. I mean some of the stuff I read out there, because that was when I first got into reading, like probably like after it ended. But a lot of the things I've seen online people saying was they didn't like that there was no like after effects of it. Like, the story was just over and that's it. But the thing is, if you continue reading the Captain America story, it's still in there and very apparent that it all happened, and he's still dealing with all of that. That's one of the things I like about it, is that struggle trying to regain the trust of the American people and everything.
So when you when you put it that way, I like it. Like if there was some character advancement, the problem is that for me, every issue was that, like, just like moping over it. Yeah. And I don't know if it's changed since then, or if there's been some advancement to the character or the story with it. But eight issues in, it was just like, him going and doing something and then moping about it in the thought bubbles and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure something's happened.
Yeah, he's still dealing with a lot of that stuff, but there has been some progression in the story. But one of the things I will say is it has been somewhat of a slow progression in the story.
Slow burn.
I don't know. Maybe
what you should do.
20, I might stop doing it.
Well, what you should do is keep an eye on the solicits, because I can't imagine that's going to go on very much more before they start it over or a new writer takes over. So just check the solicits, because if it's only 4 more issues of Ta-Nehisi Coates, you might as well finish the run.
Yeah.
What's up, Dylan?
Hey, what up, bro? We talking Cap?
Yeah.
Huh?
How many?
We just finished.
Really, it's almost finished.
No.
Because I got to.
I'm just assuming it will, because it's Marvel.
Yeah. Well, because the story has gotten better recently, but it was really slow for a good chunk. It has. I've actually enjoyed somewhat the most recent issues, but it's really been a big cover buy for me. Like strictly cover buy, I would have dropped it a long time ago, honestly. But Cap is my favorite, and I'm a big Alex Ross guy too.
Yeah, the covers have been fire. I'll admit that.
Yeah, that's probably what kept me after the first arc for like 3 more issues. Were the Alex Ross covers? Yeah.
Did you drop it? Because I'm still on it, like I said. But
I dropped it. I dropped it like 10 issues. I dropped it like around 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason why it's only stayed going this long. To be honest,
even
I
Cap
think
from Pennsylvania agrees. He says, "I've been reading Cap. It's meh. It has its good and bad." And I agree. I think the story has just been like, I don't know. The story has been a slow burn, but then, like Dylan said, recently some cool things have been happening in the issue. Like, were some confrontations. I mean, because we just like with U.S. Agent recently just got into it with him, and then kind of what's going on now with I can't even remember this bad guy that came in.
What was his name? He's on the cover. I forget.
Yeah, he's on the cover. He's on the cover this week.
Well, it's a big spoiler alert. What is it? Scourge? Is it? Justice is served. Scourge.
Yeah,
that
guy. That's his name.
Yeah. I could be wrong. I could. Let me flip through it.
Yeah, because Scourge is the name of the Annihilation. That'd be weird to.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I thought when I seen it on there.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that enemy, but I don't know Captain America that well.
Well, I think it's a new guy. It's a new guy.
Captain Pennsylvania is. I'm surprised he likes Captain America. He sounds like he's a states' rights guy.
Nope, yeah, it's Scourge.
There's not enough state patriotism.
No, it's definitely Scourge because he said
it is Scourge.
It's over Scourge.
Yeah,
but I was waiting. I'm like, dude, we keep getting these in like the like what is it called technically? The shield that's invisible.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it's technically called. It's not the vibranium one.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the one Phil Coulson been using in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and it's been on the cover like the last probably few issues, but I think this was the first issue we just got to see it. I could be wrong.
But what do you mean? Like he has a laser shield right now? Look at aggressive, relaxing.
It's like an invisible
right now. Aggressively relaxing.
That's in general.
Sick. If I die, I want you to know all my opinions were the right ones. Get better aggressively, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, man, that's how I go into every conversation. I'm like, these people, baby, don't realize I'm right.
Right.
I just have to respect.
You must have got that coronavirus.
Yeah.
Am I wrong to be laughing about that?
I don't think so. Although that fighter recently got in trouble for making a joke about it.
Who?
But I didn't know. I didn't know you really could in general. But here and there, randomly things are insulting. So yeah, I just make fun of everything. So then I could be like, I made fun of that other thing too. So
I'm kind of the same way too. My prejudice, my racism, and everything, and all that stuff. It's across the board. It's across the board.
Yeah.
It's just
Try to
I
keep
hate
it
myself
even.
too. I hate myself too.
Ooh. Man, for a minute there, I thought we weren't doing a stream, Trinity.
Me too. Because usually you message us like a few like.
And I meant to message you guys this morning before I went out for my ride and everything. Just everything's kind of I don't know. It's been a busy morning.
Oh, no worries, man. We're all here. That's all that matters. But I hope you guys are having a good Saturday.
Yeah, I cooked the kids some breakfast. My wife some breakfast. They went out grocery shopping while I went out for a nice 2-hour bike ride. Yeah,
nice.
Not bad.
It's nice.
So do you have to dodge Do you have to dodge meth addicts? I'm sorry. That's the way I think of Lancaster. I've probably been to Lancaster twice in my life.
No, I mostly ride out on like the country roads. I live out here like on the west side of town, so like I've got like a bunch of beautiful open roads where I can go right outside my front door. So I just hop out
that's
there.
Nice.
It's all good, like I think all the canyons between here and Santa Clarita, they're probably like I don't know, maybe about 8 miles, and then I'm there in the canyons, so it's not that bad.
Oh, I just imagine meth addicts live in the forest and whatnot.
Man, in forest, Trinity's seeking those ones out and chasing them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is pretty bad out here. It is.
That's rough, man.
I don't know if I should make fun. Is that like the coronavirus? Should we be making fun of this?
I don't know. Probably not. Probably.
My buddy.
Yeah, I never know.
He's like, all this Kobe news going on. And he's like, it's real sad about Kobe. He's like, but we haven't been. It's been taken off from the fact that the coronavirus is like made its way to the States. He said it made its way to Cleveland. I don't know if I believe that, but it's possible.
Yeah,
there's an unconfirmed case here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen somebody saying that there's one here in town where we live too. That walked into the Kaiser. I'm just like I don't know, man. Like so much stuff you hear out there. It's scare tactics. People are like, oh my god, like, man.
Yeah, until you catch it and you die.
I know, right?
Then we'll have to do the stream on a different channel.
Me too, Pennsylvania. I
That's
love them.
okay.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll start rotating it. Eventually we need to start rotating it.
Aggressively likes
kind of been like Tom King in a way. Like I think it just could be like he has a lot of filler issues and it's slow paced at times, but he does have good issues. But it's like, is it him that's like slow pacing this shit, or is it Marvel that's kind of pushing him to do like a certain amount of issues? Because I think if you kind of cut, I don't know, it's at 18 now. You said it might end in like a few issues, Chris.
No, I just made that up. I don't have cutting edge news.
Why the hell is you got me excited for it to end?
I said when Trinity said he was maybe going to drop it, I was like, well, it's Marvel. It can't have that many more issues left before they start it from number one again.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's true.
So take a look at the solicits and see if Captain America is in the April solicits first. Maybe Ta-Nehisi Coates' run is over. He'll start writing something else. I think Dan Slott said he wanted to write Captain America. And then Coates just sort of jumped in.
No.
So you may have had a Dan Slott Captain America. Where did I hear that story? He was just telling the story. He was like, well, I had these ideas for Captain America. We went to the retreat. They were passing out books. Captain America was coming out. And I was gonna talk to C.B. Cebulski, whatever, afterwards. And when someone said that Captain America was available, in the middle of everything, Ta-Nehisi Coates said, I'll do it. And they gave it to him. So I think Dan Slott wanted to write it. So maybe we'll get a Dan Slott Captain America soon.
Oh, man. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I know. Because I haven't really been digging his Fantastic Four. I dropped it after the Thing Immortal Hulk fight.
Yeah. Well, what issue was that? Like 10 or 12 or something?
It was like 13.
Yeah, that's a solid run. I mean, you didn't dig it, but you bought it for a year. I mean, that means you did.
Yeah. I dug a couple issues. I thought the artwork was really good, but I was trying to get into some Fantastic Four because it was like the first relaunch of them in years, I believe. Yeah. So that's another big reason why I gave it a while. And then after I drop it, people are like, man, he's finally figuring out his groove. I'm like, it took him fucking 13 issues to find his groove? Come on, man.
That's funny.
But now
I haven't read any of that.
That point, I think it's like a point of origin storyline that's been going on, and I heard that's not it. It started off good, but it's not that great. So I'll catch the rest.
Are you reading Fantastic Four, Trinity?
No, I'm not.
Me either. Did I read somewhere that Galactus showed up in Latveria? In Fantastic Four, that Doctor Doom had to deal with Galactus. Did I read that, or that didn't happen, Dylan?
I think that did happen. Actually, I'd have to go look at the issue, but I know there was
Seems like it'd be a pretty big deal. I guess not.
There was something going on. No, it wasn't that. It was like something where they actually did like team up for a second to take out Doom, and then Doom kind of double crossed the Fantastic Four, I believe. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that impressionable. Like, I'm trying to think. I wonder if I got I have the issue somewhere.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to flip to especially if it wasn't that.
No, I don't.
Especially if it didn't leave an impression on you.
What did I even do with the issues? They're probably one of my Marvel boxes, but usually I have. I don't know.
So
I do recall that though. I think it was like a 2-issue arc or something.
What are your guys' favorite reads of the week so far?
Oh man,
we're gonna do. Are we gonna do like we did? Because I didn't bring my whole stack in here. Are we gonna do like we did last time? Choose an indie book, then a pick of the week, and then talk Dawn of X.
Yeah. If you want, we I don't know. We'll just see where the waters take us.
Yeah, don't drown.
Right.
I'll do this book since it's in the middle, and I think it's worth talking about. Christian Ward art and whatnot. This is Invisible Kingdom #9. G. Willow Wilson writes it. Christian Ward does the art. So, these painter types, when they're doing art in space and whatnot, it's always pretty nice. You could see like, I mean, I guess it's just easier for them to paint. You know, some people don't like the way like the actual figures look, like the actual humanoids or whatever, but I enjoy it. This book has been good because the first 6 issues was very like cosmic and grand, and took place. You know, they were fighting a giant corporation and a religion, and it was just like a bunch of people that were basically the Amazon delivery service of that world. And then this arc is pretty cool because it became real character based, got really small, and something I think is definitely worth a read if you like sort of the space stuff. It feels a lot like, I think it takes place in like not like the universe or the whole galaxy, like it takes place in a smaller area of space, like a solar system or a couple solar systems. It doesn't feel like this huge, it feels like The Expanse, if you guys have watched that show, where The Expanse just takes place in a solar system. And so it feels like a little bit more tight, that there's just maybe a handful of aliens or whatnot. But I've enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. And I still don't know where it's going and how the religious themes will mix into it. So it's kept me interested.
Nice. Yeah, and who is it that publishes that one? I know I've seen that one.
That's Dark Horse.
Okay, I thought
really?
Because I remember I was reading something. I kept seeing Invisible Kingdom advertised in there somewhere.
So I like.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, you know, when they get to like number 9, those indie books, they push them a lot. The first like couple issues, make sure everyone sees it, that it's a new one coming out, and it shows up. The comic stores all put them on there. But when it gets to number 9, you're basically selling to the people that have been buying it the whole time, and then hoping the trade sells. I mean, so I haven't heard anyone really talking about it. I don't know anyone else still reading it. Hopefully someone is, because it's at 9. I'd like them to finish a couple more arcs at least.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd like to check it out. You just kind of sold me on it.
Yeah, I agree with not necessarily for Ta-Nehisi Coates, but just from what Dylan said, because I don't think Tom King had filler issues either. I think he was doing stuff, and sometimes it feels slow. So I don't know about Coates. You guys have to tell me about that, but I think it's all part of his puzzle pieces, and sometimes there's like a calm before the storm.
I don't know. There was a couple of those bat and cat issues on the beach that felt. I think we got like 2 in a row, bro, and I think we only needed one.
There were 2.
Yeah,
there were 2, but I thought the conversation was good.
I think that is a good one. A lot of people hated it. I bought it all the way through, man. I thought it was actually good. It had its ups and downs, but you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people were really hating on it, and I don't think it deserved that hate. I think Tom King is a good writer.
Yeah, Tom King's the kind of guy that gets clicks for hate, because I mean, it was still, you know what I mean? Like, people like enjoy talking about how much they hate him, and then it just seems like a lot of people don't like it, because the vast majority did. It never left 2 issues a month. It was selling 60 million each, with a bunch of other Bat titles around it, more than Scott Snyder had.
Right.
You know, and they never took it out of the 2 issues a month sort of schedule. So I mean, most people did like it. So,
well, you know, another one that a lot of people hated on, and I actually did. I didn't care for how it ended, but I didn't mind Heroes in Crisis.
Oh, I loved it too. That's Flash fans. Oh, we just lost him.
Yeah. No, that was me. I clicked the wrong button. I was trying to get him to show that cover.
Trinity loves Tom King. He just knocked you off.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that. I still think that's.
I like awesome. Heroes in Crisis. The people that don't like it, and I sort of understand why. The people that don't like it are the people that really, really, really hate what he did to Wally West, and DC sort of running with it. So I liked Heroes in Crisis. That was a great cover, by the way, right there.
Isn't that? Yeah, I got all of them too. Are cardstock covers for regular price too.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a great, I think in issue number 4, there's a great speech Superman gives about being a hero, and like
they probably really
sort of silly when, huh? What is that?
They probably really hated this, Flash fans.
Oh yeah.
Harley on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite read of the week so far is one I've been waiting for. Man, since I don't know, I guess it's been a couple of months since they put out an issue. But that was Ice Cream Man, issue number was it 17?
Dude, I like. Is it?
Comics?
That's one that you can just jump on because I'm so mad that I wasn't able to jump on that from the start. I want to have like every single issue. I know one of the Dollar Bin Fodder said he was going to send me like issue 1 to 3. And I'm like, nah, if you do, bro, I got to track down 4 to 17 now, bro, because I want those in singles just because, I'm a horror fan. And I read the first issue, like $1 image first, and dude, it hooked me right in. So
yeah, it's really great. One of the things I definitely like about the series altogether is the fact that like every single issue is basically all a one-shot story. Like each one is basically like a one-shot, so it's not like you have to worry about it's not like you have to worry about getting in, like you're missing something, like oh, I missed what happened in the last issue. I don't know, I'm kind of lost.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I love so much about this series is just the art in it. It looks just so plain and so I don't know, like.
But it works.
So eerie, yeah. And it really helps give that creepy kind of eerie feeling to it. Because like there was a couple issues I read, I got done reading them. I feel like I kind of got the willies.
I love.
I've heard. I know no one that reads that doesn't think it's great. And I'm like Dylan. I feel like sort of dumb that I've been missing out on it. But literally today, my comic shop has been open 13 years, so they're having a thing where you could buy like the wall back issues.
Yeah.
If you buy 13, they're $13 kind of thing. So I grabbed like 4 issues of Ice Cream Man, and then I'll end up wanting to read it in order, even though you don't have to. But I grabbed those just because it's like I know I'm gonna like it, and especially if they have that one-shot feeling, so I don't have to like worry about reading them in a certain order at a certain time. So I'm very embarrassed that I'm missing that. I'm glad that you're reading it. I literally don't know anyone that was like that started reading it and quit the book. Like everyone I know. Yeah. That reads it, continue to read it.
Yeah, I read one issue, and I like as soon as I got done reading the issue, I called my comic shop up. And I'm like, hey, can you make sure this is on my pull list?
Yeah.
I'm
almost debating to see if I can order issue 17 still, and then just put down for issue 18, and maybe along the way I can try to track down some of the old issues or something. But
yeah, as I said, they're all on trade paperbacks already.
Yeah.
I know. Like the last one just came out in December of all the ones that came before 17 all through 16. So
yeah,
I mean, but of course, I mean, if you're like me, like you kind of like the singles as well.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about it. I like the single issues.
Shut up,
yeah,
Perry.
We're dumb. What do you say?
See how dude, we're so dumb for that. Good Son sucked. There's been this thing where this guy like trashed the Good Son art, and he was like, "This art sucks so bad." He was saying, you know how they got the Axe like ads in the books, in the Marvel books? He's like, this Axe ad artwork is better. And I'm like, Perry, get this shit off of the fucking channel, bro. I can't stand hearing this dude. I'm like, he's just totally trash mouthing it on purpose.
Who was it?
And
Perry was trashing it?
No. He was like lurking it. And then Perry continued to watch it longer because he knew I was going to get triggered. So then he was like, I put like a long paragraph and he read it out and doing a voice and everything. He's like, Dylan, he's like getting all, cause I was getting all worked up. He's like laughing so hard, making fun of me. And I was laughing so hard too. So now everybody in the chat somebody in the chat is always going to be like, Good Son sucked just to see if I get hashtag triggered.
I just want you to know that even though it was my pick of the week last week, I realized that it absolutely sucks and you have bad taste.
Are you just messing with
I want to go.
You think that?
Hey, I want, in fact, Trinity, after this, can we pull that video and edit out my pick of the week from last week? Yeah, just edit it out. I don't want people to know I chose it because it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know how Dylan could even like it. I could see how someone wouldn't like it. It's not even like a comic. It's like kids in the world. Like, yeah, I don't know if this guy also likes Venom, but to me it was cool for that reason. So,
yeah. Well,
I mean,
also, I thought it
Perry,
was
you don't have great taste in general, but I like to hear you talk about comic books.
Right?
I thought
I like to
too
hear him
that
talk about other people's
he might not.
channels, like when he
Yeah,
just when
yeah.
he lurks.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
he didn't understand too that it's like kind of homages from the Good Son movie with Macaulay Culkin. Like Dylan is supposed to be like Macaulay, and Elijah would be Normie. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If I had a complaint about that book, it'd be like, dude, these guys were good guys in Absolute Carnage, and they were nice and children. And then in the Good Son, it like, the switch was abrupt. So
Yeah.
I crashed. But
Man,
that's funny. I like to find out who went and saw that. Perry, later on, post that video that you guys were watching that was driving him nuts, because that's pretty funny.
That
He'll
is
have
funny.
to post the little thing because he was like reading my comments and he was like trying to do a voice for it, and it was hilarious, man.
Nathan Big Game wants to know what the hell is Good Son?
It is a Web of Venom one shot, Nathan.
No, he's trolling.
So is he trolling?
Yeah, he's
Is he trolling?
like
No,
I'm
I don't think
trolling.
so. I don't think he is.
Oh,
okay.
Well, for people that don't know that might jump on, is a one shot Web of Venom that focuses on Venom's son and their friend that was not the Red Goblin. What was he in Slot's run for Spider-Man? I can't remember what he was, but focuses on the kids that are running in the Venom storyline. And it turns out that one of them is getting a little dark and still has a piece of Carnage's symbiote. So I don't know whether Nathan wasn't sure, but for other people, that's what it was. And it was like a superhero, non-superhero sort of book. So yeah.
Okay.
He's trolling.
And he said, "No, I know, I'm trolling." Okay. I just said I wasn't for sure if it was or not.
Yeah, other people might not. Other people actually might not know. So
yeah, because I didn't read it. I haven't been reading it, so yeah, I couldn't answer that question.
Perry, in your end of I know it's still January. Actually, it's February, but your end of year clip. Make sure a good chunk of your end of year like review is this guy talking shit about the Good Son, and bookend it with Dylan's little clip.
Right?
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, he says. Perry says, "Good Son is a horrible sort of comic book. Then the main writer decided he didn't want anything to do with it, so they let the intern write it."
That's a really nice run-on sentence there, Perry. Thanks.
Oh man, that's funny.
Let me see. So, if we'll stick it, we're at the Donnie Cates stuff though. So, who's next for the pick of the week? You want to go Trinity or me?
Go ahead.
I picked an indie I did an indie of the week, not a pick of the week.
Oh no. Oh, are we doing indie of the week first?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but do an indie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do an indie because I'll save my real pick of the week for a little later.
Yeah, I have a different pick of the week.
I know we'll all have a lot to say about that one. Let me see. Yeah, I think I was debating on two. It's either TMNT, but I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say something
real quick though. Before you get into that, Dylan, what Southern Comic Geek says here, I agree with them, and that's the way I felt before Donnie Cates came around. But I think what even though we should have been tired of both of them or Carnage in general, I think what he's doing was cool. And now Carnage is back on the back burner. I don't think we'll see Carnage for a while, except for his little symbiote. So anyway, sorry, Dylan, if you want to jump on your pick of the week.
You're fine, bro. Not. I was gonna say, Carnage though. Did he get taken out? Did he get taken out in part 2? I don't know. He's still alive, so we still have a little bit. I think once this arc is done, then we won't see Carnage for a while.
Yeah, but it's not the Carnage we know. Venom's fighting the symbiote on the island, and then Dylan has a piece of it. So it's not like Carnage. It's like it's crazy Venom basically is out there.
Yeah.
So
I thought that piece still that Dylan has is like the piece that he got from Norman Osborn, not Carnage. Am I wrong on that? I thought that piece. Remember when he throws his hand out and then he completely wipes Norman Osborn out because he was acting like he was Carnage. He
you're right. It might be from there. You're probably right. I mean, they all look like Carnage. They'll look like Carnage to me. You know what I mean? So
it might even be like a piece of the symbiote. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Norman thought he was Cletus because he was like, you know, it was like some of that actual symbiote. Who knows, man?
Harry is on
No, I think
maximum
it
control
is.
right now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Perry's acting like the way I act in his comments when he's doing like that's what's like. This must be how it feels to have me in the chat.
Right?
Yeah.
The greater than Tony
The
K.
next one is too
It's
far.
good.
The next one is too far.
Major X better.
Major X is better
Come
than.
on, man. Like even I know better than that.
Oh my god. Sadly, I have all 6 issues because I even got that issue 0, man.
Yeah. Oh, Major X. Yeah, I got it too. I even got a
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
that bad.
I took
It's
it
not
down
that
so I didn't
bad
have to
either.
hear Harry bitching anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how we discovered you or how I discovered you was on Perry's lurking channel months and months ago, and he was talking shit about your Major, and then he lurked you again later. He goes, "Oh, he took down the Major X poster."
Yeah.
I wonder if that's because I was giving him shit.
Yep.
Don't let the troll win. You never let the troll win. I know
That's
because
why
I always win.
Perry hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I
So
think the
something's
second or
killing the
third
children.
I need to take a poster down.
I'm getting a request to do the stream next Saturday as Myrtle.
Oh my god.
Oh, as your hillbilly guy,
Yeah.
I'll work with you there. I can work with you there. I'll be because you know when you watch like Saturday Night Live, there's the guy that's acting crazy, whatever it is, and then they're always acting crazy with like an insurance agent or with a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's I forget what they call it in comedy. I could be that while you're being the hillbilly. Let's see if you could do it for a whole hour though.
I probably could. But yeah. Myrtle got me in some trouble this week. Some people were upset and didn't like that video too much.
Really?
Yeah, when I heard you doing it, I don't know where to go look for the people that would be angry about it. But when I heard you do it, I was like, oh, you were saying specific stuff about specific videos. So I'd like to hear who got mad, but we don't have to say it here.
Yeah.
Just I'd like to hear the video. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, it's all jokes, man. This is freaking YouTube, bro. Like, lighten up. We're here to have some fun.
Yeah,
man.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel you there for sure.
I'm not sure. I guess my favorite indie of the week so far that I've read would probably be this one right here, Quantum and Woody. This is just, I mean, mostly because it's one of the few books that I've read this week, aside from like Ice Cream Man. Oh, dang it, come on. What's it going on there? There we go. There we go. It's Quantum and Woody on Valiant Comics. Now I think I'm not very familiar with the whole Valiant universe stuff or anything, so I'm assuming these guys have been around for a while, just probably in the mix of some of the other books and stuff. But I thought this issue was actually pretty good. The art in it, the art style in it was something that was a little bit different. That I don't know. I guess I kind of like because it was. I don't know. It seems I don't know. Just like and it changes too from different points. Like we see all the stuff over here, and then just like some of the things we see right in here, and different things. I don't know. Something about the art I kind of liked it about it as well. But it seemed like really just like a silly book, where these guys are like heroes. They're kind of on the run. They're wanted by people. People are pissed off at them, and then they go out and they do a good deed to get in everybody's good graces again.
Yeah, it's definitely the comic relief of the Valiant universe. I'm not sure if in this how much they've been in this last run, but I definitely have some Quantum and Woodies from the 90s.
Okay.
That I enjoyed. Yeah. Valiant is like, I have a friend that likes Valiant on YouTube, not a real friend. I don't have any real friends that like comics, but not that you guys are my real friends. You're just on YouTube, but that really likes Valiant and keeps telling me, things to buy. And so I plan to like sort of get into the trades and stuff. So Quantum and Woody was one that I saw that I remembered from back in the day. And it is sort of like the comic relief a little bit. So hopefully it's funny.
So we're not really friends.
I mean, we're real friends. Yeah, I guess I meant IRL. What do the kids say now? IRL?
I don't know, but I'm hurting I'm hurting IRL now. Yeah, no, it was a pretty good book. It was slapsticky and silly, but yet they still kind of got their job done throughout the book. And the art in it was kind of, like I said, it was a little bit different than most of the books I read, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
That's cool. Dylan, before I interrupted him, Dylan was talking about a book that I'm sad I don't read that I feel like I should have. So everyone sells me on this book. Yeah, everyone sells me on this book, and I just still haven't read it yet. So
we're only one issue away from the trade coming soon, because issue 5 just came out, and then obviously 6 will be next, and that should be the end of the story arc, I believe. And because it was supposed to be originally just 6 issues, and then it got like right when the first issue came out, maybe even like a week before, they changed it from a mini to an ongoing. So dude, this issue, it's been awesome all the way through, I'd say. Like Tinian, like I heard somebody say, like, the way he writes Batman compared to this is just so, like, Something Is Killing the Children is just so straightforward, and it's not like all wordy and stuff. And I don't know, man, I love this. The artwork is like really it's kind of dark and almost like painted. It's like painted in a way. Like Werther Del Toro and Miguel Muerto have done a great job. And I think it has like HP Lovecraft type, like monster like aspects in it. Let me see.
Yeah,
they have a good shot of
like
monster.
Something Is Killing the Children.
I love it.
I think my only issue with Something Is Killing the Children so far, and I still haven't read this week's issue, was that it seemed like issue number 3 just was like a continuation of issue number 2. You know, it seemed a little bit slower, but
not
in a bad way.
That's what 4 to 5 felt like too for me. Let me see. Where's the monster?
Are you spoiling it for Trinity right there? Does he know there's a monster?
Yeah, this monster's been shown already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm not gonna go. I'm not showing any more than this. I just wanted you to be able to see the monster, Chris.
So that looks cool. So the vibe I get from like someone that hasn't read it but heard people talk about it is like I get a Stranger Things vibe, except with actual children being killed.
Yeah.
Is that it, or would that?
I've never watched
it. In a way, I guess like
I've never watched Stranger Things either.
Not really.
Not
like
really. Okay.
In a way, with like them come with the monster coming after the children, definitely. But then there's like this almost like secret society type thing where this girl is like going from town to town, like getting ordered around to go kill these monsters when she hears of like a monster, like, you know, kind of killing these children in a town. And basically it started off with this kid talking about like a vivid dream that he had when he was having a sleepover with his friends, and they go down to this creek, and then he was I think he was telling them that he believed in the monster, or they saw it outside the window, and they're like, oh, you're just messing around. So they will go down to the creek, and this monster ends up killing his friends, and basically like he's just shocked. And then this, you know, this badass chick who seems, I don't know how old she is. It seems like she could be like 18 or maybe 20 or something.
Yeah, she seems like she's pretty young.
Yeah, pretty young.
I mean, sounds legal to me.
Yeah. She's pretty cool though. She's like your typical badass. Almost kind of reminds me of like maybe like Ripley or something from Alien, just no fucks given. And she basically is getting, you know, from time to time, like if she gets in trouble with the cops, she'll be like, oh, you'll be getting a phone call, and in an hour you'll be letting me out. And basically, like in each issue, there's like this crest on the back. And then I believe the guy that calls, he had like a cane, and you see this crest on his cane. So there's some, like, I don't want to get into it that much, but they didn't.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll read the trade for sure. I mean, I always say I'll read the trade, but
this issue they got like a tiny bit into what this might be. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really say.
So they're going to explore.
I have my ideas. I just don't want to say because in case somebody hasn't read it. But it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Me.
It's like got it's got, I'd say, like Stranger Things and maybe Supernatural.
Yeah. The girl in it, she kind of reminds me of Emma Stone. Like if they had a TV show or a movie of it, it would be Emma Stone playing that part.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and Emma Stone has a specific look, so I wonder if the artist was doing that. So did you guys I don't know if I'm jumping to the next thing before the other thing, but did you guys read all the Dawn of X books yet, or?
Yeah.
All of them? Okay. Yep. Even Fallen Angels, Dylan, you read it?
Yeah, I liked it.
You struggled through it.
I liked it. I really.
So what do we
it.
have?
Did you see my video? I actually
haven't
said I
watched it
felt
yet.
like I was too harsh on it. I was like, man, I felt like I was too harsh on this title, and because I was kind of thinking it was going to be more of a tie-in to the whole Donna X thing, I think that by itself, like the story is actually really good, and I kind of want to go back and just binge all 6 issues because I think I was too harsh, and I thought it ended pretty cool. I thought it was a cool issue, and the artwork was really good throughout.
That issue? Oh, I like the artwork on the last issue. So I mean, I could tell that there was something rushed in it. Like, I don't think that Brian Hill was able to get all the ideas he had out in it. I think it just ended up, something happened behind the scenes there too. I know it. I could tell because he seemed to imply that it was only going to 6 pretty early. And they were all selling, even if that was selling the worst, they were still selling more than Iron Man and Captain America or something. You know what I mean? So I just felt like it left a lot of potential on the table. In my opinion, like it was still good. I still liked it. I still thought the idea was cool. I thought it was different from the other books. We've already talked about the art, you know, it was up and down, but to me in the end, I liked it.
This was the weakest art issue, I'd say, actually flipping back through it. I think that, it was up and down. There were some issues where the art was fantastic, but I flipped through it again and the art was,
Yeah, I don't know. There was a couple of issues, man. The art was so bad, dude. Like it made me mad. Like,
because then you see like one issue amazing.
Yeah, he had a couple figures. Some of his figures doing the digital art were a little weird. How'd you feel about number 6 though, Trinity?
I felt like the story was rushed. It ended too fast. Yeah. The action that was in there was cool, but it seemed like the fight was rushed.
It was literally a page.
The thing I liked about it was it had that kind of cyberpunk feel to it, and like all the philosophy and stuff that was kind of interjected in there as well. But this one, it almost seemed devoid of that. It almost seemed like it's like, okay, this happened. We're wrapping up the story. Here's a white page at the end for something philosophical, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I think basically you said what I think we're all agreeing essentially. I think you just said what I like. It just was rushed. It was finished, and it left a lot of potential on the table. Like all the weird philosophy stuff he was talking about in like issues 2 through 5. They didn't really touch on that at all. At number 6, it was just like, here's the fight, here's the white page, and that's it. So that's why I think that something happened there, or they wanted to do something else, and so they had to button it up very quickly. So what can you do in the end? But I like it overall. Like I have positive vibes towards it. It just clearly the politics of the situation somewhere in there made them have to wrap it up quickly.
Yeah, and I think it really does suffer for it too, because it ended in like I don't feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? Especially for what, like you're saying, like what it built up through issues 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 is, it's kind of like, oh come on, like I think like we kind of deserve more out of that series, because like I said, the art one thing, but the story that was going on was really great. I like that, like the whole story, like I said, with that full philosophical kind of stuff, and then the fact that they're fighting against Apop, this digital like god, and like to me, all of that stuff was great. And then I mean,
just unexplored.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they go. We'll see if they go back to Psylocke a little more, like visit her, because she took off. There was a good chunk of Dawn of X. How many Dawn of X books came out this week? 4?
I think
was
so.
it 4 or 3?
Yeah, it's 4 of them.
Yeah. 4. Did you guys know
Psylocke will be in Hellions?
Yeah.
Oh, she might be. That's right. I did see her on that.
That's the one replacing Fallen Angels.
So did you guys? I didn't even realize that the new issue of New Mutants was. What did Perry think sounds super cool?
I'm not really for sure. I was sitting here going through.
Maybe he changed his mind about Good Son. Yeah, he might have changed his mind about Good Son. So did you guys? I didn't even realize that New Mutants was going to be that Brisson arc. Going back to that Brisson arc, it's jumping a little bit too much, don't you guys think? I'm not saying one is good or worse, but it's like they're completely different stories almost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
2 stories in one title.
Yeah,
I really
and
like this issue though.
because I think like the first 2 issues were dealing with the ones in space. Then like 3 and 4 were back in Nebraska. Now 5 and 6,
Yeah.
or 5 was back in space. Now 6 is back in
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Yeah.
So I'm okay with it, I guess. I just didn't know it was happening. So I mean, that's going to make a really weird trade, by the way, too, because if they do 6-issue trades, nothing's really stopped with the space stuff, right? So at least this arc was buttoned up, but nothing was really stopped with the space stuff. But I really did like this ending, though. I thought it was interesting, and I thought those, I really like those 2 twins. I think what is it, Manon?
Maxime and Manon.
Yeah. So they're cool, and I think they premiered in. It's funny because they could have a really strong effect on the story in general, whatever story they're in. And I think their first appearance was in Extermination, right? They're not old characters.
I'm not for sure.
Correct?
I'm not for sure on that. All I know is they kept me up this whole book.
I can't recall that story.
Which story?
Extermination.
Extermination is the story that happened around the time Uncanny X-Men restarted before the Hickman stuff, and it was, if you guys remember, the old X-Men were in the mix. They time traveled the old X-Men back, so they had to send them back. And
I just can't remember what it's about.
Yeah, you may not have read it, dude. I don't think anyone really read it. So
I have all the issues. I read it. I just can't remember it. The Southern Comic Geek said that the twins were an Extermination. Yeah, I remember Ahab was like the main villain in it.
Yeah, exactly. And then Ahab was a villain in the X-Force series before Hickman, before the post-Hickman stuff. So, they've been around for a short time, but they seem like they might be very, very powerful. And I just whenever you read X-Men, right, you're always like, where's this character from? Have I read this character before? Like, I don't know that you'd have to be a really dedicated X-Men fan to have been reading it, like, let's say all the titles from like, let's say even Morrison's run all the way to now, so when I read X-Men, I'm always like, have I read this character before, and I feel like I've read a lot of X-Men, so
yeah, that's one thing they've definitely been doing throughout all the Dawn of X, is really tying in a lot of old characters that have been in past arcs and stuff like that, like stuff where like you really have to kind of be into it to know who some of the characters and stuff like that are, because I know I get comments in my videos sometimes with people like, oh yeah, that's from this and this and that. I'm like, I have no clue. Thank you for telling me at least.
Yeah, this X-Men number 5 is very deep in Rick Remender's X-Force storyline. I think that came out in 2010. Those characters, that's what X-Men 5 was about. So I read some of that back then. And then it's become like a real famous storyline, especially in this, like, let's call it a dark period after Grant Morrison's new X-Men, that everyone says X-Men wasn't good, even though a bunch of great writers have written it. But that's one of them that everyone seems to say is really good. I remember just thinking it was okay and not buying it, like getting it. That's when I only read trades. So I need to go revisit that. But I believe that's all, and maybe Southern Comic Geek, some of the bigger X-Men fans can tell you that X-Men 5 really takes from that. From an X-Force run in 2010. So, and I thought it was interesting. I could follow along fine. I recognize those characters from wherever I've read them in the past, as someone that's only read it lightly. But how did you guys feel you guys could follow that? Like, was the story still good? Because it seems important.
It was a little confusing, I'm not gonna lie. It was really Matrixy. I really love the artwork because, did you notice we got the Powers of X artist? We got. I hope they keep with him too. RB Silva. They got rid of Lionel Francis Yu. He just did the cut. He did the cover. Like Francis Yu. I really love that artwork. It was like so Matrixy. I hope they stick with him. I hope it wasn't just like giving him a one issue just because you know what they needed to do for this. But I hope he stays on. It was a little hard for me to follow, I'm not gonna lie. I had to read it twice. Actually, no, I didn't even read it twice. I read it once, and then I watched a review trying to, piece together what I couldn't understand, because I'm like, I don't know about this vault. Like, I'm like, where does this vault come into place? I know that if you stay in the vault, even for a couple minutes, it could end up being like 500 years or something, you know. But yeah,
I felt like they explained that. I felt like they explained that well in the book. Like if you assume, like I do with every X-Men book, if you assume that you haven't read everything, then can you follow the story now? And that's really what it takes to be a good X-Men writer, and what makes X-Men a lot different, or mutants in general, right? So I thought that was pretty good. Even though I was vaguely familiar, I thought that was pretty good as far as that. Which review did you? So I just finished reading the Dawn of X books yesterday, so I haven't watched anyone's reviews yet. So which review did you watch to do that? Was it Professor Bill or?
Yeah, because he did
where he explained it a little bit. Yeah, so yeah. I'm either gonna, because I think that those characters are very important. So I'm either gonna go do I'm sure that X-Force is at my library, so I'm either gonna go do a quick checkout and read those real quick, or I'm gonna watch like Comics Explained or something, review it for me somewhere. Because I think it's gonna be important. I mean, Professor X says as much in there, right? He says, what is he? You guys have the book in front of you. He says that's the single biggest threat to mutantdom, are those whatever they call them. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I literally just read it yesterday. So he calls them the single biggest threat. So we'll see.
Oh, and
the single
in this one right here.
Towards the end, he's telling a group of them that the children of the vault are the single biggest threat.
Didn't he say children?
I mean, we don't have to read it. This is a great stream, guys. Two people reading the comic.
I know, right?
Like
I'm sitting here like going through here. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Just trust me. He says it.
And,
I trust you. I was just trying to figure out.
Or send.
We're talking about like these ones right here, right?
Well, is it Professor X talking?
No, but these characters right here, he's talking about these ones right here. We're referring to, right?
Probably. I'm talking about the kids.
The ones that were inside the vault.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be big. And Hickman's doing that thing, which I guess I thought was annoying, but now when I think of the Hickman I've read, and then I recently listened to a podcast with him and Kieran Gillen, like from like 4 years ago, his style is like, he sort of explained what he does. Like he knows the ending, and he's setting up a way that he can write stories for 2 years. And all of these stories are going to be disjointed. So you're going to get one that's about old ladies. You're going to get one that's about the children of the vault. You're going to get one that's them talking to, you know what I mean? The way, I think that it's not going to change. I think you're just going to get a lot of randomness and no real arcs. Maybe some overarching arc that you'll see after a year or two. But I think X-Men's going to continue on this pace where no issue feels like it, or they feel like they only vaguely respond to each other, but they're not like arcs with the beginning and middle and end, like, for example, Excalibur was. I think that's what we're going to get. And I like it. I like that because, hey, maybe number 3, I didn't love as much, or I thought was a good issue, but was inconsequential. But, every issue has been so different. It's now making me excited now that I've gotten back into my Hickman mind.
Yeah. And, and
go back, Southern Comic Geek, go back one. I think someone just corrected me, which I want them to. Children of the Vault was an X-Men Volume 2 story. Okay.
Yeah, and
so
go ahead.
If Southern Comic Geek sort of has helped out with a couple things. So he's clearly one of these people that stuck through X-Men and didn't stop on and off like most of us have. So I'm curious if he's seen any Rick Remender X-Force stuff influence on Dawn of X yet. I'll just throw that out there. He could say whatever he wants, and we can go back to that. But what were you going to say, Trinity?
Yeah, I was gonna say, since we're talking about the art on this, in this X-Men book, like Beautiful. About RB Silva's art, in most of the stuff he does, I really like. But like this right here, like this Wolverine, sorry, am I on the wrong side there? The Wolverine there, I don't like this Wolverine as much as I do in some of the other books. Like to me, like he just looks too shiny and polished. Like the Wolverine I like to see is like when we go to X-Force and we see we see this Wolverine. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and it's not that RB Silva's art is bad. It's just I like that grittiness look to some of the characters a little more than that kind of shiny polished look.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. That might be. I don't know if RB Silva did all the art on it. That looks like a coloring thing. Is there a different colorer on the X-Men book? Because that is
it's Mart de Gracia.
De Gracia, because that might be. That's like because the line work looked fine. It actually looked a little Liefeldish to me, to be honest. But the glossiness is a little bit of the colorist.
Yeah.
So, and I would say in general, the book looked like that, a little bit shinier.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Art wasn't wasn't it House of X that RB Silva was doing the art in, I think?
Powers.
Yeah, that was Powers.
Well, okay,
Powers
of X, yeah.
Pepe Larraz was on House of X.
Yeah. And in Powers of X, it all worked good for most of the time. I think that's because, a lot of it was like the futuristic type of stuff, where we still saw a lot of like the Sentinels and things like that, and the Librarian. And
Gracia actually did the colors. The guy who you said that did the colors, he did the colors as well for Powers of X with Silva.
Yeah.
So for Powers,
same team.
So I did have some issues with the art in Powers of 10, though. And it wasn't so much the colors. I really, one of my favorite books does this too, Sonata, and it's becoming happening more and more. I really, really hate the digital background blurring, and they did that a lot in Powers of 10. Like that scene where Mystique gets sucked down. I don't know if you guys remember it, when they're on that mission. Mystique gets sucked down into space. If you guys flip through that, I don't know what issue it is, maybe 3 or 4. It has that digital blurring, and there's a lot of examples of that, and that drives me nuts. I don't like to see that. I understand that people have to draw digitally now, and it's just easier, and you could send stuff easier and stuff, but I still want to be tricked. You know what I mean? I don't want it to look like Toy Story or anything, and I don't like that digital blurring stuff. And I look past it because, like I said, one of my favorite books, Sonata on Image, that artist, although the art's really good, I could see that happening too, but the only thing I wanted to say about comparing the art is I love the X Factor or X Force art too a lot more, for sure. But I also like it when the books look different. But you're right, there is a little bit of a glean, too much of a glean on Wolverine.
What I did like about the X Force art actually is that they actually got a different artist on this book than they've had in the past books. But the art still matches and fits the tone of everything that was going on before it too.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because before it was Joshua Cassara doing the art on all the issues, and number 6 has Steven Segovia.
It is.
They have the
it
same
is
style.
It's a lot the same style. I really did like this X Force issue.
Yeah, Beast looked awesome, man.
Yeah.
So who's the colorist on those? I should have these in front of me.
Right now on X Force, it's Guru EFX.
Oh, and I think it was before. That might be another colorist thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the first 3 or 4 issues were Dean White.
Okay.
I think it was Dean White doing the art on the first few issues.
Yeah, I'll have to open those up and compare them again because I guess it did look a little different because Beast. I remember I didn't notice Beast looking so cool in earlier issues, and he did look great here. What did Southern Comic Geek say?
It was one of the old ones. It was Exterminations where Cable died. Oh
yeah.
It was that. About Hickman is really good about pulling obscure characters into today. Gold Balls is a good example of that.
Well, some people might say Gold Balls is a terrible example of that, but so, which Dawn of X issue am I missing? We talked Fallen Angels, New Mutants, X-Men. Oh, we haven't actually talked about X-Force yet.
Yeah, X-Force is the one, and probably because, man, that book, man, I'm telling you, X-Force this week, that was like X-Force
really good.
Was exactly like what Marauders was last week. Like I'm sitting there reading this book, I'm like, holy, like, what's going on here?
That's cool. I loved it. And I've loved I know the last issue was action based, so the story didn't move out, but I loved last issue. I love this issue. I love Beast. And I love people talking about Beast right now because it's true, man. He does a lot of dumb stuff. like he does surprisingly dumb stuff for such a smart guy. And makes, I don't want to say he does dumb stuff. He makes some significant, morally questionable decisions, including turning himself into Beast, for example, right? Like turning himself into the monster, the hairy monster kind of thing. And it looks like he's just decided he's taken over X-Force, like the way he's talked, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really loving what Brisson's doing there. Or that's not Brisson. Who's writing X-Force again?
Percy.
Huh?
Percy's
yeah,
right.
Benjamin. I'm really loving what Benjamin Percy's doing there. It makes me even more excited for Wolverine than I was that Benjamin Percy's writing it. So I mean, X-Force is easily my favorite. Even though I like them all, X-Force I think is easily my favorite for sure. I think we all agree on that. Maybe Dylan is a Marauders guy. I think X-Force is your favorite too, right?
Yeah, it definitely has. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so that's three, at least on this panel. I know some people like Marauders the best, but man, X-Force is just so good, and it's just built so well.
Yeah, definitely.
At first, Marauders was my favorite. Like from that first 2 issues was amazing, but X-Force has just been consistently badass, dude. Like, yeah.
Marauders is close too. I like Marauders. It's close.
Oh, no doubt. They're neck and neck, but X-Force just even comes out on top by a smidge. I agree,
Julie, for the 4. I believe that's 4 pounds. I think super chat for Hillbilly Trinity next Saturday. So it looks like Myrtle may have to host the show next Saturday.
Yeah, we'll do, or at least a Myrtle segment. We'll bring it. We'll bring it for a Myrtle segment. We'll think of something funny. Let's think of something. So
yeah, but X-Force has me so pumped for Wolverine because, dude, Percy's just killing it.
Yeah, it's been really good. So I guess since we got, I don't know, about 20 minutes here left, let's go ahead and get into a little bit more of X-Force. Well, what did you? I guess let's start with you, Chris. What did you take out of this issue? What's going on here?
I just remember Beast doing stuff. I've almost forgot this issue. Get me off of this thing. Let's review the plot again, because now I've forgotten the plot.
Well, pretty much he's going through talking about how he's the conductor of an orchestra.
That part I remember. And that part I remember. That's why I liked it. That's what stuck with me. But I'm trying to remember, because I remember the hook at the end was really good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, because remember they took the kid, or the kid they had got it abducted from Terra Verde. They took him and they had him, but he put some sort of like disease or something in his head, so where he wouldn't remember what had happened. It was degenerating, so he wouldn't remember everything that had happened with the mutants and all of that kinds of stuff, and then he ended up evolving.
Dude, because when he's saying it, he's like, I'm always he's like, sometimes bold decisions must be made, and decisions are never made by a committee. That's why X-Force exists, but that's why I'm its conductor, because I'm always 5 moves ahead of everybody else, because he's
playing chess. Okay, I gotta go get the issue.
As he's getting,
you guys talk amongst yourselves. I gotta go get the issue real quick.
That thing.
Yeah.
That's the first appearance too, isn't it?
Whose?
In the back, that last page, that like new monster or whatever it is, that new plant-based symbiote type thing.
Yeah, definitely some interesting things going on there with this issue. As I was reading it going on, I mean, you can see we see that Beast is very full of himself and everything he's doing, but then a lot of the stuff that he's talking about here, like, it starts to make me think like everything that's kind of happened, he's kind of been orchestrating and making happen at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
I think so too, because I think this is a Beast who's finally kind of let go of all that. Like he was kind of soft at one point. Like, he wasn't willing to make the hard sacrifice, and now I feel like, I don't know, it's almost like he's got Dark Beast and regular Beast mixed in, where he's able to make that harsh decision if he has to for the greater good for mutants in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because he's willing to do whatever to make sure that they keep what they have going. So
yeah,
when that dude's like melting away, I thought he was dead. I thought the father was like basically saying goodbye. He's like drooling, and then you see him, you know, sneak out the window. I'm like, holy crap, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was surprised that, I mean, it makes sense that Beast is like the conductor, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, it's a different thing that usually, you know, he doesn't make those harsh decisions. So I thought that was actually kind of cool that he's kind of like, I don't know, he's just went given no F's at this point, where he's just down to do whatever.
Here we go right here. Longbox Diving put it best, says Beast rewrote the nanotech to eat his brain. Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was, because he basically gave him a degenerative brain disease.
Yeah.
Kind of what it was, which which really just ended up making them evolve.
Yeah.
But when he done that, so yeah, I thought that was something definitely interesting, and yeah, and then that's what he's talking. The telefloranic Omega Sentinel. Yeah, and that's
yeah. And then okay, that sounds a lot better than what I said.
Yeah.
Because he was also saying that these you know, these telefloranic Omega Sentinels, that they that whatever they've kind of figured out, the codings, shoot, I'm trying to figure out, they would no longer recognize mutant sovereignty if they found out like that they've kind of figured whatever they damn, it's killing me. What
he was talking about, basically they,
you know what I'm talking about?
signed the treaty with them if they knew they had those drugs, which basically they wouldn't need the mutant drugs if they had those drugs.
Exactly.
Basically, the mutants don't have the monopoly on it at that point.
Yep. And then he tried to kind of transform it so that they would eat his mind, and he thought that he would kind of switch it so that the drugs would be basically harmful to him, and I guess it kind of bit him in the ass. Or it's gonna in the next issue at least, which I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
What is it? An aggressive beta level technology. And he's like, no one will question what I've done or question his condition.
Okay,
so I thought that was crazy.
Did you have to run and do the number 2 really quick and catch up on some reading?
Yeah, that's what I flipped through it while I got on my phone today because I haven't played with the computer. People were saying yesterday that I was fuzzy, so I'm just doing it on my phone, and then my phone died while I was getting that. So, but I'm back now, and I read the book. I did actually read it. I wanted to make sure because I started to think I didn't finish it, but yeah. So this is getting into like the real, like actual almost CIA stuff, right? So
yeah,
he's actually screwing with countries and getting like like mutant interests finished, but he's getting a little crazy with it. So hopefully they follow up with that.
Yeah, and so how far do you think he took that? Because when I was starting reading this book, and I'm reading everything he's talking about doing here, and then we get Xavier's confession there towards the end. Like by the time I get to the end of the story, I'm sitting there like kind of question. Like I went into conspiracy theory mode. I'm sitting there like, whoa. What did, like, I'm sitting there like Rocket was in Avengers Endgame. I'm looking up at him like, what did you do? Because it started to make me think that, did they orchestrate all of this stuff that's going on? It started to make me wonder about, because some of the things Beast was saying kind of started to make me wonder, were they funneling money to, like, say, even the people who were who took Domino in issue number 1 of X-Force?
I didn't get that.
Set up the Reavers and all that stuff, because I'm like they were talking about Xavier's confession, and then about how he was wanting to die, kind of just all of that whole thing, and then they're talking about everything in the Beast was talking about in this issue. I'm like, did they set that up themselves?
So this is going to actually bring me to something that they told me today in my comic store. So we're going to mix a little what happens in X-Men 2 in the last issue of X-Men. But paper, I don't take shits that quick, by the way. My wife will pop in here, is like, there's no way he only takes a 3-minute shit. I mean, for me, it's like a religious experience. There's meditating. I get a chapter or 2 done. I make videos. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
So I think you're right that there's something involved there. I thought you were talking about specifically dealing with the country stuff, but I don't know. Literally, this was told to me 20 minutes before I got on the stream. Like I had just gone to my comic store. They said that, and he goes, I'm not sure if it's a coloring mistake. I haven't looked it up on Google. If you look at Professor X's eye color in House of X, it's brown. He's talking to Moira, it's brown.
Yeah.
If you look at his eye color in X-Men #4, when he takes off his mask, the only time he's taken it off, they're blue.
Yeah. And
apparently his sister, her name slips my mind, Cassandra. Apparently his sister Cassandra, has blue eyes. Have you heard this theory?
I haven't heard the theory, but somebody else a while back was telling me about his sister Cassandra, and I was like, okay. And then later, just on one of my last videos, or I think maybe on my review, somebody on several of them, people have said, did you notice his eyes? Like, I think it was on issue 4. And I'm like, I did notice that too. Cause I remember seeing them blue, and I remember like, they didn't look quite the same when I seen them before. And that was something I started to look at, like, and it made me start to wonder about, the timing of when everybody has died and passed away, and also the mutants that have been resurrected that they're going to bring back, and all of those different kinds of things. The fact that they talked about, I think it was in House of X, where they're talking about no mutants have changed husks, like it's happened one other time before where something like that has happened. And I think there's some real crazy shit going down right now.
Crazy stuff's going to happen for sure. And we're going to start learning more about, again, in a podcast that I listened to, the only one that he's been interviewed since Dawn of X came out. He said that a lot of this evolution and a lot of they're not reincarnation, but the gold balls, the 5 stuff is going to start to be explored in X-Men #7. So that's going to be a good time. So yeah, I think you're right. There's some kind of conspiracy going on, and they're really pulling the strings on a different level because they know most of what's happening. Like we have to not forget that there are at least 2, maybe besides Moira, at least Magneto and Professor X know what's going on.
Right.
I can't remember if there was a third person in that mix, but it is at least those 3 know what's going on. So they might do things that in the microcosm look like it makes them evil, but they're doing it all for a reason. So
yeah. And that's the thing, because it's just like, after reading this issue of X-Force, I'm like, there's way too, like, I thought everybody's been acting way too shady anyway. And was it in X-Force also where they were talking about the I think it was, I can't remember, where they were talking about the resurrection protocols and how they've kind of thought that maybe the 5 had been doing what they can to, like, on a DNA level, to make improvements upon the X-Men before they resurrect them again to make them a little bit more perfect.
I think that was on the white page, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was sitting there reading that. I'm like, why would the 5 have anything to do with that? Wouldn't that be Sinister, the guy who's got control of all their DNA and everything? And we know he's been messing with everything anyway.
Previously, before Dawn of X and all this stuff, if I heard anything about genetics, I knew that Mr. Sinister was going to show up at some point, like in X-Men. You just know whenever they started talking about genetics, Mr. Sinister was around. It was be like time travel and seeing strife. You know what I mean? So previously I would think that. Now I don't know what to think, to be honest. I don't know what to think about what's going on. I'm just along for the ride. I'm just jumping on and along for the ride.
Yeah. It's also said that Professor X had to reset his brain several times.
Was that in House of X? I vaguely remember that. But my memory is not always the best because I could barely remember the X-Force comic I loved that I read a day ago.
I can't remember. I thought I remember reading something about something like, I can't remember exactly. I have to go back and reread that word.
Yeah, I'm going to wait. I keep thinking I need to read Hoxpox again, but I'm going to wait a year. I'm going to wait till we're 12 issues in of like X-Men, and then I'll read Hoxpox again. I'm going to hold off a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of went through and brushed up on some of that here and there, reading some of the stuff, because like I was starting to think about things like just a whole bunch of different things that are going on in these books, were things that I remembered being referenced in like House of X and Powers of X. and then having to, going through and kind of nitpicking through it. I'm like, maybe I need to go back and read all these issues again, do a review on them, talk a little bit more about them with, I guess our eyes open a little bit more compared to what's been going on here. Because, man, like, I'm telling you, like, this issue of X-Force, it got me thinking, like, dude, like, these guys are, like, it sounds like they're, like, setting all this stuff up.
Yeah, they're doing something. Like, that paragraph especially, that actual white page should have really, like, set off a bunch of things. So there's two good things. One, I think I'm actually going to do that in my Lightning reviews video I just put up. I didn't really review the House of X books. I think I'm going to do like a 6-issue. Like, I'm going to review 6 issues of X-Force and 6 issues. I'm going to do it like, here's the first 6 issues, my review. But lost my train of thought there a little bit. But in general, they're up to something for sure, because they know, like, they just have that knowledge. They have the knowledge of the end of the world in the future for Phalanx. They have that knowledge in them, Magneto and Professor X. So they're definitely scheming in the background. Definitely are.
And see, and there was something actually mentioned in, I think, God, what was it? New Mutants. Was it issue number 2? Was it New Mutants issue number 2, where when they were out in space and they were on, basically when they had gotten their pardon from the Shi'ar, and they were headed back, and I can't remember the person's name that was in there that's supposed to be ascending to the throne because of the Shi'ar Empire, because her father was going to step down or whatnot, and she could take over.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. I want to say Lilandra, but I don't think it was Lilandra.
No,
it wasn't.
What they were going to get? Was it?
It almost looked like Scarlet Witch or something. She had like that crown.
Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't it Warbird they were going to get? The chick who was at the very end of New Mutants issue number 2, she was all hot.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Fell in love with her.
I think that was her name. That is, everything you said is correct. I'm just trying.
Okay, Southern Comic Geek guys, it says it is Lilandra. Then something in there about people basically wanting to come down onto the Shi'ar Empire because they specifically mentioned, it was in black letters too, about Titans wanting to close in basically on their world. And I was interested in that because Titans is actually one of the civilizations they mentioned in, I think, Powers of X, where they were talking about all the ascendancy up to the point where you get absorbed by the Phalanx. And they were saying, like, Titans are coming here to bring us more to, it sounded like to basically swallow up their civilization because they were smart enough and all the technology and all that stuff. I'm like, what is that where they're going here with that? Like, I wasn't for sure, but it was slightly mentioned in issue number 2. And I'm like, I wonder if that's what they mean. So, like, going back and reading some of that stuff, I think would help bring a little bit more context to what's been going on lately.
Yeah, it might be worth it. So I will eventually. I'm definitely rereading the first 6 issues of each book. It's like, I don't know if my brain can take reading House of X and Powers of 10 again, because looking back on it, I just feel like I read an advertisement for the next 2 years, So it's, I know there's stuff in there, but I really want the wheels to spin a little bit here.
You said Deathbird was her name. It was Leandra's sister.
Yeah.
Later, wished upon a blog. She took off.
Take it easy, Julie. Get some sleep. Get some rest.
Oh, she's in England, right? Or she's is she Irish? She's Irish. Okay.
Irish.
Oh yeah, it's late over there.
PM says basically the CIA.
Talking about X-Force. That's what X-Force is doing right now. Yeah, which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the hook. This is the hook I was talking about, because when Beast is saying that, like, he's controlling the keys and stuff, and he thought that this guy was dead, right? And it's like, nope, he's that's a future villain for X-Force to deal with. So so I mean, X-Force just continues to be consistently the best, I think. So
yeah, definitely. And for me, like I said, when it first started off, I think it was issue number 1 that really got me, because I was sitting there like, ooh, this is kind of like body horror.
Well, issue number 2 was the body horror one, remember?
Yeah. When we seen, well, I think it was issue number 1 where we seen at the very end where Domino was there all strung up and everything in that.
No, that was issue number 2, the body horror one, because the end of number 1 is where Professor X gets killed.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So number 2 is the body. So number 1 was like, what it felt like to me was like a, not Black Hawk Down, but like if you ever watch the if you ever watch the videos or the stuff about like Osama bin Laden being killed, like that's what it felt like to me. Like them doing a special ops mission is what I was looking for. And then number 2, what did have all the weird ass body humor. It's where I realized that the art was so freaking cool.
Yeah, definitely. And and man, I don't know. X-Force, it does just seem to be the best one out of the bunch for so many different reasons. It seems like it's the main title that's carrying most of the story forward, where most of the action and everything is happening. It seems like
it is for sure.
Too slow in all of the other books.
I think it is for sure, but now that we have like these 5 X-Men books, I think we'll see that just the way Hickman writes is that he's showing you the pieces he needs to, sort of. So more and more, I think X-Men we're gonna realize that that's the book where that's happening, and right. But X-Force is gonna be like, longer arc storytelling where we're gonna feel it. So Donny Cates rhymes with masturbates, and that's what he does to his readers. He strokes them for 20 issues of straight garbage. Perry's going down on Donny Cates for Thor number 2.
I know, right?
Thor number 1. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah. I think I was going to mention earlier, and it was actually Perry's comment on one of my videos, that he's like, yeah, Donny Cates gives you what you want, which is what I said in the video. So yeah, he's trolling Dylan. Although, I mean, it's fun to troll Dylan. I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So
but yeah.
Have you side conversation real quick? You've seen Down, right?
Yeah. Or no?
Yeah, a few times.
Oh, you know what I have?
You never seen them?
I haven't actually.
Oh yeah, they're really.
No.
I've seen them a couple times. They're playing Psycho, which is like which is probably the better doom metal, mostly doom metal, but a bunch of different metal festival here in Vegas. So they're playing, and then one of Phil's other bands is playing too. I can't remember. Or no, Crowbar's playing, which is not Phil's other band, but they're all all those southern metal bands. They all have members of each other. But
when's that happen?
Okay. Psycho is every August, and it's at Mandalay Bay this year. So it was at Mandalay Bay last year, and that's the first one I missed in like 4 years, and because I went to Poland, but I won't miss this. So they always have a good like mix of bands. Like Blue Oyster Cult is there, but then like Emperor is headlining, and who's one of the other headliners? They just announced the lineup like a day or two ago.
Nice.
We'll talk offline, dude. I mean, if you come down here, you have a place to sleep if you want to go to Psycho. So,
nice.
But we'll figure that out later. Depends. It's probably like $250. So, I mean, for a 3-day festival, it's expensive, but not expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, side stuff. Dylan, if you want to talk about Eminem, I can talk about Eminem too.
Yeah, I talk about old Eminem. I don't know about this new Eminem, bro.
I don't mind it. I think
his last album was okay, but man, I miss the crazy Slim Shady. But I'm glad he ain't all drugged up. So
yeah, Eminem to me is the same every time. That's probably my problem with Eminem, is that except for when he sings, which sucks, it's like, oh, I want to hear what he says. Like I listened to an Eminem album like twice just to hear the things he says, and then I never listened to it again. Samurai level trolling. No, I don't know. Perry, you're like maybe, I think you're like maybe blue belt trolling. Yeah, it's only okay.
Yeah. Believe me, I could go hard if I wanted to.
My metal. Who's the other metal brother there?
1-2 Comic Talk.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. I mean, he should really just change his name to Spawn.
Right?
So we all know, yeah. So okay, I know we're about to roll out anyway because it's an hour and a half, but I actually do. I gotta go get my dog's shots.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it all up. I'll make sure I drop some. I know Tommy's been dropping your links there in the chat, so everybody go check out Chris from Chaos and Comics, and definitely make sure you check out Dylan as well. Is there anything else anybody has to say before we go tonight?
No, man, that's it for tonight, man. Thanks for having me as always, and thanks for hanging out, everyone in the chat. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next Saturday, no doubt.
Yeah, it was great. I love these conversations, and X-Men. I'll say one thing about the X-Men community, because it's not been big lately, especially, and now we're all reading it. Is like people are actually not assholes. Like a lot of people are like Southern Comic Geek, or I've helped other people. Like I think that the community recognizes that there's no way everyone can know everything, and so people are. I heard I forget the guy's name, but on the I forget everyone's name, but Never Stay Dead podcast sort of mentioned this, and I realized it was true. The X-Men community is actually really cool and helpful for people checking stuff up. So, yeah. So don't thumbs down Perry's videos. He's the best. Trinity. Don't be a dick.
Whenever I ask about some old school X-Men stuff, those guys always just give me like paragraphs of knowledge. I'm like, hell yeah, bro.
Dude,
that's
I
awesome.
know.
Yeah. That community is actually really good.
I've come across several people, like when I do talk about like my X-Men reviews and stuff, they come in there and dude, I'm telling you, they dump a lot of information on me. I'm like, cool. I know one of them in particular has been Cat Czar.
Okay. That's cool.
It's been in my comments, dropping a lot of comments, and like always helpful. I'm like, man, it's always so great to hear from somebody when they're sharing a lot of stuff with you like that and everything.
And it's amazing because they're not dicks. Could you imagine if you got something wrong about like
Star Wars
C-3PO or something, and like you acted like you're a fan and you're doing reviews, like you get murdered. People are like, you don't know shit. You probably like Rey.
You're not a real fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that to people because I watch. You know what I mean? I know all the details. I make sure that people know they're idiots when it comes to Star Wars. But the X-Men people are really cool.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you guys.
All right, man. Take it easy. And everybody else out there, take it easy. We'll see you all next Saturday. Later.
Later.